fan of 3-chord songs. There are few as instantly, as meaningful, and sort of directed at everybody while still having these sort of ambiguous lyrics. It's about everything and it's about nothing, and everybody can identify with it. And I don't know about you, but when I think about this song, I see Tom Cruise singing his heart out while he's driving down the road from Jerry Maguire, Free Fallin'! And I love Tom Petty, and I know you're a super Tom Petty fan.
He's an American treasure, that man.
Yeah. And I think about his Running Down a Dream documentary, and when he's talking about this song and how initially, but not afterward, but initially, I think his band felt a little threatened by his solo career pursuit. Yeah. But they all ended up playing on the record anyway.
I mean, when you're friends, you're friends. That's what
right. Yeah. But I remember he was talking about how some of them didn't even like the song when they heard it. And from a musician's standpoint, sometimes we can get a little snooty when it comes to 3-chord songs. You know, like, it's an easy song. But man, I'm going to tell you, this song is beautiful, and it is elusively difficult, because if you're really going to inject the emotion into it, you got to like insert yourself into this. And because of the sparseness, the simple melody, the simple chords,
doesn't change the whole song.
Right.
You know?
And the masterful sort of minimalist harmonic arrangement that Jeff Lynne and Tom Petty cooked up together, it really is such a powerfully emotional song. I remember one time I was playing in a band, and we were playing in Peoria, Illinois, and the owner of the venue came up and was like, "Play it again!" You know, we happened to land on the same place, sort of, you know, in a spiritual sense, and we played it really great, and it just felt good. And this is one of those songs.
It is.
It just feels great.
Well, it's one of those ones too. I think you've talked about on some of the other Chords and Coffee episodes where, you know, and maybe this is just my opinion, it can be tricky to approach this one because it's so classic, and it's like you either leave it alone, make it your own, and do it better, or do it poorly. You know, when we do this song in my band, my Refugees band, when we do a lot of the Tom Petty stuff, you know, it's one of those ones like it invokes the emotion, and I can't pull it off. My sister can pull it off, and so you have a lady singing this, and it's just a whole nother level, and it shows what the song can become. You know, it's so cool.
I think you have to take it somewhere different. I love what you just said. Leave it alone, make it your own, or something else.
Play it poorly.
I
mean, I guess
you could rhyme with "own" on there, you know, or you know, completely disown.
Make it alone, or completely disown. There we go.
So what I'm going to do is Mike and I are going to take you through the 3 chords to this song, but more importantly, if you've got a capo, you want to break it out, because on this episode we're going to show how playing with the capo in different parts of the neck really is a game changer for this tune.
It's not always a crutch.
That's right.
It's a tool.
That's right.
It's a tool.
Yeah, I mean, there's some songs like "Here Comes the Sun." How are you going to play that without a capo?
You can't.
Unless you're going to make it your own.
Well, you can't.
Or completely disown.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There you are. That's all you got.
Yeah. So there's certain songs, and this is kind of one of them where capo really comes in handy. So I want to show you 3 different ways to play it. I want to show you some cool things to do with thirds from the key of F that are nice to play over it, and also want to give you some scales, because the reality is, under the make it your own context, if you're stretching out a solo on this, there's some options you have, and we'll take a look at that. So without further ado, let's just launch right into it. So the song's in the key of F. And I'm going to play, so here it is as though it were an E. And so you're going to have your index finger on the 1st fret of the G string. You're going to have your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D.
Now you're tuned down, right?
I'm tuned regular.
Oh, you're tuned regular. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But then I'm going to capo up.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Now, Mike brings up a good point. There are instances, and I think I talked about this, and I did a Confessions of a Former Capo Snob episode. And there's instances where tuning up is really hip. And this would be one of them.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Get a lighter set of strings on your guitar, and you can tune up and then play this in E. In fact, I think Keith Urban keeps the song. I know Mike Campbell keeps a guitar in F.
Yeah.
Up like that. Yeah. So index finger, 1st fret, middle finger, 1st fret of the G, middle finger, 2nd fret of the D. I'm not going to play the A at all. And so when I go to that A sus2, this is going to be the ring finger, just going to come down on the G string of the 2nd fret, beginning ear open, not playing the low strings at all. If I happen to hit the A, it's not the end of the world, but I'm not focused on the bottom 2 strings at all. Then do it backwards. And then to this B chord, this is going to be index finger on the 2nd fret of the A, ring finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the G, and then pinky's going to be on the 4th fret of the ring finger's 4th fret of the B, pinky's on the 4th fret of the G, and then open E and open B. Now, but how the song goes is with the capo here. So put the capo on the 1st fret. By the way, if you're playing in front of people and you care about them, and you care about the ears, their ear holes in yours, you always want to tune when you have a capo on.
Yeah. You know, these Kaisers are awesome. They're easy to change. You can't really adjust the tension with them, though. And so with that, you're getting the same grip no matter where you are on the neck. And sometimes that can pull your strings sharp. So if you try to play along with the song, you're going to be a little off.
Yeah.
Or your buddies.
So if you discover that, don't freak out. Just get in the habit of just checking your tuning every time
Tune with the capo. It's okay. They all still work the same.
For the sake of expediency, I'm not going to show you me tuning with the capo every single time. So if you see a clever edit, that's what happened.
Tuning at it.
That's right.
Because we care.
Okay, so let's. I want you to hear these two things together. So and then we'll talk about what you're doing as far as that goes. Okay. One. That's already super cool.
That's really neat. Yeah.
So what are you playing, Mike?
So I know on this song, I know on the video for the song you could watch back in the day.
From SNL?
Well, that, and then he's just on an escalator, I think in LAX. There's an actual just music video for the song, but he's playing a 12-string. And capo on the 3rd fret, and he's doing all this, making the D shape. When you're making the D shape on the 3rd fret, there's your root in the F. So then I'm just doing that fun little thing you can do with your pinky where you just add it on right there. So I'd be adding on my pinky onto the, 8th fret. Capoed up, letting it off, and then you're making the A-shaped chord.
No, that would be the 4th fret, right? Am I looking at that right? Oh, 6th fret. Sorry, 6th fret. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 6.
Yeah,
Gosh, numbers.
Yeah. Got you.
I didn't get into this to count, man. Yeah. This is where we're at. But sorry, you're right. 6th fret. My bad. But yeah, it's just pinky on, pinky off, and then you're making the A shape right there with your capo on. So you're making a C chord. So there's your C, and then repeat, rinse and repeat. And in my head, I always thought of this as a 2-chord song, but my brilliant friend Nate, who sees all the different ways of notes through the matrix, it is technically you're kind of hitting on a B flat in there to get, which is just the 1-4-5. Oh my gosh, it's a 1-4-5 song.
Yeah. So with that, if you want to do it, I would actually, in the spirit of like arranging the song and actually how Tom Petty plays it, I would do that definitely at the beginning. But then maybe especially if you're playing in a band or playing in a duo, as the song develops, and you want to. So from that D, instead of just doing like that D sus4 there, just go straight to a G chord, right? And then maybe this guy.
Oh yeah, talk about that one.
Yeah, so what do we got there? So you got the good old-fashioned D chord. You're going to have your index finger. This time it's going to be on the 5th fret of the G string. You're going to have your ring finger on the 6th fret of the B. You're going to have your middle on the 5th fret of the high E. And then to your G chord, you're going to go up here and play your more than words G, as I like to call it, with your middle finger on the 6th fret of the low E, index finger on the 5th fret of the A, and then your ring on the 6th fret of the B, pinky on the 6th fret of the high E. Let the capo do the rest of the work. And then back to the D. And then for this A, this is going to be index finger is going to be on the 5th fret of the D, holding down the 5th fret of the G, and then pinky is going to hit the 8th fret of the B and the 8th fret of the high E. And that would be nice to have as kind of in the meat of the song. You know what I mean? Have in there.
Yeah, well, all those things just help kind of decorate it. So depending on how many guitarists you have playing at the one time, when we get to do the song and my sister sings, I mentioned we're 3 guitars heavy, which is really pretty cool, So I'm capo-less on this one and just kind of playing the standard chords. But there's so many ways you can walk around the roots and those accent notes. It's truly fun, especially when you get a few other buddies playing with you. It's not so much just a few chord repetitive motion. You're finding the weaving and the dynamic.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool with this song.
Yeah. And the jangle that is produced from having those multiple strings that are open with the capo is so lovely. So speaking of which, let's do this as though we're in the key of C. And so this is going to be, there's this melody, this, right, that happens. He just did it on the high E string with that D shape, right? But this time it's going to be in this part of the chord, which is going to be, let's do the ring finger on the A string of the 8th fret. I've got my capo on the 5th fret. I'm going to have my middle finger on the 7th fret of the D, and then my index finger is going to be on the 6th fret of the B. The C chord, only difference is I'd recommend putting your pinky on that high E string of the 8th fret.
That other octave in there.
Yeah.
You know what that sounds like to me? Wildflowers.
Yeah.
Because that's where he plays Wildflowers. Whole nother lesson, but also
Yeah.
another 3-chord song.
Great song too. And also it's interesting how there's plenty of songs that involve these capo maneuvers, but we attribute that sound instantly to Tom Petty.
Absolutely. I mean, he kind of, at least for my generation, our generation, wrote the book on how to use that way.
Yeah. So you got your pinky up there. It's still just a C chord. It's just got an extra G in it. And then we're going to go to this F shape, the Wildflowers kind of sound. I hear it now too. Can't unhear it. And your pinky's going to stay there. It's going to be an F add 9. So you're going to have your index finger on the 6th fret of the B. You're going to have your middle finger on the 7th fret of the D or the G, and then the ring finger is going to be on the 8th fret of the D. Pinky's up there on the 8th fret of the high E, and then on this G, maybe just good old 2-finger G here, where I've got my ring finger on the 8th fret of the low E, pinky's on the 8th fret of the high E, and by virtue of that ring finger hitting that low E, I'm dampening that A string. Listen to how these things sound together. 1, 2, ready, Tom Petty. That's cool.
I bet all those layers are on that recording too.
Probably.
Probably.
And if you've watched a couple of Chords and Coffee episodes where the 12-string guitar has come up, if you have a home recording setup of any kind, and you have a 12-string, and you haven't done this trick that I'm about to tell you, you are welcome. This is like one of my favorite things to do. Not every song mandates this, because this is such a strong flavor, right? But I think about bands like America, and bands that had kind of a 12-string forward, and there was kind of that era.
Acoustic presence,
Yeah, you know, like
Kansas
America, Bread, Kansas, that kind of good
70s.
70s acoustic stuff. You take a 12-string and you play a simple thing like what we're playing right here, and then you do it again, you record again. Do not copy and paste. You avail nothing when you do that, because what you want to do is you need the authenticity of some of them notes not quite being the same on that other performance, and that little gentle rub that says, I am real.
Yes.
I am Velveteen, right? Velveteen Rabbit reference. Yeah. Anyway, and then you pan them. You pan them out a little bit. And there's an art in that too, because you want to kind of, if you pan them hard left and hard right, it'll sound great. But if you kind of start to scoot them in a little bit, it becomes this sort of 70s wash that's sort of like Gordon Lightfoot's hair treatment. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. You'll never forget it. You'll be addicted too.
Don't even know what
I don't
that
know
means, but I understand exactly what you're saying at the same time.
All right, so those are the chords of the song.
That's it.
Now, you might be saying, well, Nate, thank you. As a matter of fact, Nate already knew this song. Mike, Nate?
Yeah.
What else you got for me? Well, let's go back to that idea of having to stretch it. In other words, you're playing out live somewhere, and, you know, like everybody, we're always trying to, when we're playing, it's like, well, you know, especially if you're doing like a 3-4 hour gig and you've got sets. Yeah. You want to milk every tune for what it's worth, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
if you're playing this song, D minor pentatonic would be the first great place. So let's do a little bit of that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Can't go wrong. D minor pentatonic. Now here's another one. Now give it to me like we're in the tune. We're gonna play A minor pentatonic. A minor pentatonic.
What? It's not loud, is
it? So it's in the key of F. If I play the notes individually of A minor pentatonic, I've got A, which would be F's third. I've got C, which would be F's fifth. I've got D, which would be the sixth. That's a little interesting. I've got E, which would be the major 7, and that E will be the major third over that C chord, but it will be like the sharp 11 over the B flat. So it will add all of a sudden it'll be like, ooh, I wasn't expecting that note. And if you work it right, it's going to be great. But especially in the context of stretching things out, having some sort of ethereal ambient note ain't a bad thing. And then after that E, you're going to have a G, which is that ninth again against an F, and then we're back to the A. So listen how this sounds. Let's pretend we're kind of in the tune. Ready? And that A minor, as soon as you hit that E in there, especially over that B flat, I love that sound. It's one of my favorite things. And if used in the right way, it's super cool. Now, and then here's one more. Then this one is the most dangerous. This would be an E minor pentatonic.
Oh, man.
What? How's that work? Well, I'm going to tell you. So against an F, E is going to be the major 7, which we just did, the danger note. G is going to be your 9th or your 2nd, that add 9 kind of thing. A, major 3rd. Hey, so far, this is great.
What is that?
B, this is a danger note. Because over the F, you've got this.
That's what we call a clan.
Over the C, you got the major 7. So over the F, it's like a sharp 11. Over the C, it's a major 7. And then over the B, it's a flat 9. Now, just because there's a danger note doesn't mean that scale doesn't work for you. In fact, the more you can embrace some tension into your playing, now it gets a little hairy, because it's like the other day I was cooking rice and I wasn't paying attention.
Rice? Oh.
It wasn't hairy rice.
Good.
It was jasmine rice.
Oh.
Anyway,
Sometimes.
but sometimes, yeah. And I wasn't paying attention. Walked away, burnt the rice. Right? Now, if I would have been paying attention and known, hey, because when you're cooking a good rice, you want to stay on the heat, soak up all that stuff. Don't take the top off, right? And then don't even mess with it until you feel like it's done, right? You can use timers and all that, or you can, have your spirit guide you, right? So, with that, a danger note's not a bad thing. Let me see if I can make this work. Now we're going to pretend we're at the end of the song.
Okay.
Right? And do da da dun dun. And now maybe we're just kind of riding that F like this. And kind of hitting that. Listen to what happens. Ready? Just on that F chord.
Just riding the F.
Yeah, just like we're at the end of the song. It's just kind of sizzling. And we're just kind of in the moment. Ready? And...
It's the highway to the danger note, and I like that.
Yeah. So I was hitting that B, but over that F, all of a sudden, what you end up doing is making this sound. Now, I can feel Tom Petty going, I don't know if I like that.
I'm pretty sure that note wasn't in my song.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
But
No.
you asked, and I'm telling you, that is a 3rd scale. And so D minor, the safest, A minor, got a little bit of, because we're getting that E note in there, that major 7. That E minor pentatonic, that's a danger spot, but it will work if you're holding over that F as an ending. If you're going to play it through the tune, you're going to have to avoid it on that B flat, because that B natural will not jive. And you're going to have to honestly avoid it on the C, because that C major 7, that's not what that sounds like.
It's not.
It's just a straight up C.
Yeah.
But on the end of that song, if you needed kind of an ethereal moment, and if you needed a context for that, listen to what Derek Trucks typically does at the beginning of Midnight in Harlem. When they're holding that E note and he's just playing this and he's like, and he's playing those sounds. Not those licks. He plays much better than that. But he's playing those sounds, and it's a really cool idea. It's a very Lydian kind of moment, right? So that's a cool thing to do. The other thing I want to show you just really quick over that is just playing these thirds, like I did there.
I love it.
Right, and so this is going to be, think of this as like the better part of a D minor chord, where you've got your index finger on the 6th fret of the B, you've got your middle finger on the 7th fret of the D, and then I'm going to go ring and middle. We did a whole lesson on thirds, by the way. If you're like, wait, show me more of that kind of stuff. Ring and middle are going to be on the 8th fret of the D and the G, and then up to the 10th fret of the D and the G. And then I just go to this pentatonic, where I've got my ring finger on the 10th fret of the D string. I'm holding down the 10th fret of the G, and I'm hammering on the 12th fret of the D there. And then maybe take it off, and then do the same thing 2 strings down on the A and the D. Hammer on and take it off, right? Mm-hmm. That's enough to get you started on that. Yeah. But there's a bunch of ideas for free follow.
It's cool, and it really is, and when you get a buddy to play with, like we talked about, it's adding those layers to it. It becomes a song that can kind of just become, well, I won't say one note, but maybe just flat by yourself. It becomes something a lot more when you can play off of somebody else. Because it is.
Yeah, well, that brings up a good point too. Not to cut you off, but like if you are playing this by your lonesome, now you've got some different things that you can do. I mean, shoot, if you put a capo on the let's see, if you did it on the 5th fret and then had one on the 3rd fret,
just pop one off.
And then had one on the 1st fret. 3 capos, just keep popping them off as the song goes on.
Oh man,
I'd pay to see that.
That would actually be fun.
Speaking of 3 capos,
man,
I wonder if there's a way that we could get one more guitar player.
We have the technology.
We do.
We have the guitars.
Who would you recommend?
Somebody with a quality mustache.
It's hard to find these days.
It is. But we may have a person.
Often behind the camera, seldom in front. Today, Jordan, I think it's time for you to get your wings, buddy.
Jordan, it's time.
It's free fall.